Hi there. My name's Whitney, and welcome to TEFLPros. TEFLPros is your source for learning how to teach English overseas and online. On today's call, I sat down with our recent grad, Jonah, to hear all about his experience on our TEFLPros Plus course. Hey, Jonah.
Hey, what's up?
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Big congrats on graduating from the program.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been, I don't know, I guess it's been pretty quick by TEFL standards. I did like 6 weeks and here we are. Actually, I just got the diploma in the mail, by the way.
Oh, really?
It's my address, yes. It
Um,
came like 2 days ago. Gotta block off my address. So there we go.
you want to ban a white? Have you looked at it?
I haven't opened it yet. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
no, because it just got here.
You can. I don't know if that reference even works for your generation. Do you understand Vanna White?
No.
Yeah, here. She's on a TV show called Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Box and like displays the letters. So
Okay, gotcha. All right, we'll do like a mini unboxing then of the
okay,
of the
there we go.
letter.
Box.
You got it here. Okay. Hold up. That's like a thing on YouTube, is like unboxing videos.
Uh-huh.
All
There we
right.
go.
Hold up. Convenient packaging. Okay. Oh, there's a second envelope.
There it is.
Okay. Hold up. Okay,
Yes.
there we go. All right, so we got the letter. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then we got the diploma.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness, it's fancy. I gotta like frame this.
There you go.
Uh,
Double
there we
certified.
go. Double. I gotta say that whenever y'all complete this, well, I'm assuming if you're watching this, you probably haven't finished it yet. The diploma's so pretty, guys. It's worth it. It's worth the effort. There you go.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. All right, so we're gonna hop into some questions. Jonah has an interesting that he's been on, so I'm excited for folks to kind of follow along with this talk today, Jonah. So first question that we always ask folks is just, can you describe for us where you were at in life prior to hopping on the course?
Right. So my life situation was complicated. Because if you had told me 6 months ago that I was going to do a TEFL course, I never would have believed you. I was in high school. I was abroad. I was in this little country called Andorra, which is between Spain and France. I've been there for 2 years, and I was there to learn Spanish. And so I was doing like their equivalent of high school is only 2 years long. So I was doing a full course there. I was just kind of going through things. I was meeting people, having a good time. And my expectation was I was going to go to college, specifically because the course I was in, like the high school that I was in, was very much meant for college preparation. And all the kids there were going to go to like the most elite schools in France and Spain. That was kind of the idea. So I ended up applying to college. I got accepted to one. I was like, I'm going to do journalism. My life's great. And then I got about to the exam period, and I was like, yeah, but I don't really like journalism. Like I started kind of reflecting more on it, and I was like, I want to go to college, but not for the thing I want to study, just for the experience. And I was like, I don't think that's the right reason to be going to college. And so I talked it over a lot with my parents and with different people. And I was kind of like, all right, this is not the right route for me. I have to find something else that I'm going to be more passionate about and kind of follow that route. So I came back to the United States. And within a week, I was on a call with Whitney, signing up for the TEFL course. Because I literally, like, I just started thinking, I was like, what is something I like doing? I'm like, I really love languages and I love teaching. I love explaining things to people. And I was like, well, that's teaching English or teaching Spanish or teaching some kind of language. And so I found these different TEFL courses, and they were pretty much like, yeah, you do this course and you can get placed somewhere. You can find a job once you have the certification. And so anyway, that's kind of how I got here. I was just really looking for something to do with my life at that point because I knew college, at least for now, was not for me. And this seemed like, especially I'm a young person, I want to get out there, I want to travel, I want to see places. And I'm like, teaching English is a job that gives you that option. And so that's kind of how I came to this course.
Thanks for sharing that, Jonah. I think I didn't realize until just hearing you explain it right now that our first call together was like a week after you had moved back.
Yeah, because I got back here like July 2nd, July 3rd, and pretty much like I think a week after, a week and a half, I was like, all right, I want to sign for this course. We had our call together, and there we are. Yeah.
So when you were going through that transition period and you were searching for a TEFL course, like was there anything in particular that you were looking for?
I was looking for especially the overseas aspect because I'm someone who's always loved traveling. I mean, obviously, I lived abroad already, and I want to get back out in the world. Like as much as the U.S. is great and everything, I want to see more places. And so I was like, what courses give me the option to do that? One option is I go abroad and do the course there, but first of all, it's really expensive and also logistically. And I was like, okay, online options. So I was looking for something online that could be done quickly at my own pace, and I was looking for something that would help me in that process. And looking online, every place was like, if you want overseas placement, TEFLPros, best course. But like there are quite a few places that were like they help you a lot with that job process. And so that's kind of that's what I was looking for, is like something that would help me with that specific goal.
Okay. Okay. And so then you got on the course, and as you've already alluded to, you went through it at a very quick pace. No surprise there. This guy is used to studying hard. He had just come off an IB program in Spain. So
Right.
about 6 weeks, yeah, of
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
intensively going through your TEFL course. Any highlights, anything you want to share about just the process of training to become a language teacher?
Right. Well, I would say, and I've told Whitney about this privately, but I got a job while I was studying on this course. It was not as an English teacher; it was as a Spanish teacher because I also speak Spanish. And so I was at this little school here in the U.S. in Pittsburgh, which is where I live. And so I started teaching there, and I kind of got thrown in the deep end because I was only like halfway done with the course. I was done with the lesson planning modules, which is like up to module 5, and there was still like 5 left of classroom management, and or 5 or 6 left. And so I was starting to teach, and I still didn't really know all the steps, and it was really interesting because like before every class, I was doing modules from the course, and then I would immediately be like, all right, this thing I can use this in class, like this, it will help me prepare this lesson. Or a lot of the time when I was preparing a lesson, I would go back to the examples on the course, or I would go back to like a portfolio assignment that I had done. And I know I sound like a marketing person for them right now, but literally, like it was exactly what they teach you is exactly how you teach. Like it was perfect, and like the models of like the lesson planning. Oh, here's how you teach a listening lesson. Well, then I would be like, all right, if I have to teach a listening lesson today, this is the structure I have to follow. So that was the highlight for me, was that everything I was learning was immediately put into practical application because it had to, because I already had a job. And so I was expected, all right, you have to teach 2 classes every week and you have to do them well. So that was a highlight. I would say the classroom management part, like that kind of the second half of the course, was for me really interesting. Because like some parts of it are intuitive, but other parts aren't as intuitive. Like there are a lot of really interesting things that like I, as just a student, I mean, I've been in classrooms my whole life, but I never thought of like, oh, the seating arrangement affects people in this way, or like, these certain words, this is how you have to talk about this thing so that people understand it. And like this is how you have to negotiate different cultural differences and that kind of stuff. So those were all interesting. Like it was all just like everything was very complete. It worked very well with like what I was doing at the time. And yeah.
Well, that's great. I feel like when, well, folks hear me say this a lot, like when we're on the course working together on coaching calls, but if you can do something like volunteer teaching, or I mean, in your case, you actually started working in a classroom while you're going through your TEFL or immediately thereafter. It's just great because you get to see things in action in a way that, and put things into practice in a way that, you know, isn't possible otherwise. You can think through it. You can do all of your practical exercises on your TEFL course, but when you're faced with it in that classroom on a weekly basis, it really jolts you into the reality of okay, how do I make this work? How do the logistics actually play out in a classroom? So that's wonderful to hear that it was very quickly, easily applicable to your situation in your Spanish classroom. Love that.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And now you are working towards some English teaching too, right?
Yes. So yeah, I'm teaching that class. And yeah, I mean that's the other great thing. TEFL knowledge is applicable to everything, even if you're, it's applicable to just teaching in general, not just English, but English, as well. So along with that, I'm trying to get a volunteering position right now, with actually the National Service Center, which is kind of a bit of a connection with TEFL Pros. And so I'm trying to get a position with them to volunteer to teach refugees English, to get more experience kind of on the English end specifically.
So that's exciting. We're going to look forward to continue seeing Jonah on some coaching calls and kind of hearing how this process goes. Always exciting to have such a young person go through this experience. So very, very excited about that. And last but not least, sir, any advice that you would give to others who are perhaps finding themselves considering jumping into this path of getting TEFL certified and teaching?
That's a hard one. I mean, the first would be do it. I mean, like, what do you have to lose? I think it's a great opportunity. Like the entire world of TEFL and teaching English and getting to go out there and meet different kinds of people and travel to different places. I guess first thing would be before you're getting into the course, this is something Whitney told me. Find some kind of job or some position or some area that, like, with this TEFL certificate, I'm gonna be able to work there. Because I specifically wanted to go abroad. She was very straightforward and like, all right, if you don't have a bachelor's degree, it will be harder. Make sure that there will be some jobs you're gonna want with this certificate that you can get with it. And so I went out there. I found a couple places in Spain, a couple places in Mexico, a couple places that were like, without a certificate, we'll still, consider your application, or like we'll still accept people without a bachelor's. I was like, okay, that gave me a bit of comfort that like those kinds of jobs that I would want, I can get them. So that would be my first piece. And then other, like, while you're doing the course, is just be consistent. Do all the materials that are on there. The way I did it was I'm more of an auditory learner, so I would watch the videos and then everything has a practical element to it. Usually like the portfolio assignment, all right, like you've watched this video on how do you make a lesson plan. Now you got to make one. So I kind of, I figured out, all right, I like the videos and I like, this like portfolio and like very hands-on, and then kind of working between those two elements. So find what works for you and work at a constant pace. For me, I wasn't the fastest worker, but a couple hours a day, you're gonna get through it. Like it was 120 hours. It sounds like a lot, but like if you're working at a consistent pace, you can get through it pretty quickly. So I guess those are kind of my tips. Is, figure out what you're gonna do with it and just be consistent. And find what's working for you.
That's great advice, sir. Thank you so much.